Ba-dum, ba-da-dum, bum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum.
Hello and welcome to my Game of Thrones recap. Many have recapped Game of Thrones, and now I am also recapping Game of Thrones. We start in King's Landing in the aftermath of Joffrey's murder. That little piece of shite. He's finally dead. Cersei's mad, and in his final moments, Joffrey pointed at Tyrion, which... what is it, like Joffrey noticed Tyrion might be poisoning him, but then was like, nah, probably not poison. But then when he felt that anaphylactic shock take hold, it was like, oh, that must have been poison. Whoops, I better point. Yeah, that seems unlikely. More likely, there was no basis for the pointing if he did indeed mean to point at Tyrion. It was just like, one more F you, one more poo in your shoe from little Joffrey. Thank you, and good night. Sansa runs off with that necklace guy, and he puts her on a boat. They paddle off to a ghost boat. She climbs up and it's Littlefinger. That guy. The necklace guy is like, well, I'll be going now. And Littlefinger is like, oh, not before I pay you. And we know what's coming. We know what kind of payment. Oh, look, it's death. Death was the payment. Sansa's upset. She's like, he was my friend. I can prove he was my friend with this necklace. Littlefinger's like, it's made of glass. Watch me smash it. Because I planned this whole thing. Don't trust anyone. Come on, let's go. Which, he just said don't trust anyone. He just said it. Definitely don't trust him, Sansa. It would have been great if he said, don't trust anyone. Okay, let's go. And she was like, okay. And he was like, Sansa, no! That's exactly what I'm talking about. Don't trust anyone, especially me. But obviously he wants to continue to manipulate poor Sansa. Hang tight, girl. Marjorie and her grandma Emma Peel talk a little bit. Marjorie is like, so close to Queen. And Emma Peel is like, honey, he wouldn't have even been a good first husband. You dodged a bullet. Trust me. And then Tywin and Cersei and little Tama are by Joffrey's funeral bier. Joffrey's got some eye cookies. Creepy. Medieval. I love it. Tywin is talking to the new heir apparent, little Tama, about what makes a good king. And I knew Tywin was going to push some agenda, and I really assumed it would be like, a good king is a cruel king. And then when he made his big reveal, I was like, oh, of course. What makes a good king is listening to Tywin all of the time. Then Jaime comes in, and he's alone with Cersei, and she's hissing, it was Tyrion. And this prompts Jaime to rape her, which is weird. The moral ambiguity of the show is one of the things that sets it apart. And we were all really getting to like Jaime. We all wanted to believe he had become cool, but then we find out he date raped his sister, and even though she's no prize, it's like, thankfully, we cut to everyone's favorite odd couple, Arya and the Hund. They're chilling by a stream, talking about what they really want to do in life, their dreams, and kind of hinting that they might go to Bravos together, and the Hund can become a mercenary and Arya can become a ninja. Also, a little bit, friends are hard to come by in Westeros, so maybe some reluctance on both their parts to let go of a friend. Then a dude and his daughter roll up. The Hound gets hostile, but then Arya comes up with a fast-thinking lie that the Hound is her father and he got a little addled up in the war. Perfect cover. Arya showing that she's already honing her talent as a changeling, if not yet in physical appearance, then in persona. They take the dude up on his offer of stew. Dude is like, hey, it'd be great if I paid you some silver to hang out a couple weeks here. The Hound is like, sounds good, which Arya is like, uh-oh. And then the next morning, there's the sound of a blow and a girl scream, and the Hound has knocked the dude and taken the silver, and Arya is like, WTF, and the Hound is like, these two, they'll be dead soon. And then he calls Arya out on her naive Starkiness, which I love that. Sometimes I think the point of this show is that the Stark family thinks that if you're good and honest and persevere, you're entitled to a good and peaceful life. And everyone will treat you with respect and everything works out because that's what you were entitled to. But that is not how it works in real life, and that is certainly not how it works out in Westeros. And so sometimes I think that's the point of the show. Anyway, then we're with Samwise and his proxy baby mama, and Samwise is like, you gotta get out of here. These sexually repressed crows are gonna hurt you. They're gonna rape you. And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, 100 men are dreaming of you every night. And she's like, 100, huh? And he's like, 101. Oh, Gilly, you're more beautiful to me than even Gillian Anderson. No, he doesn't say that. He just kind of goes, And then we're with Davos and Stanny B. Stanny is like, Joffrey died, just like Robb Stark died, just as foretold by the blood magic spell. That's magic with a C and a K, so you know it's real. And Davos is like, damn. And Stanny B is like, we gotta move. Where are my armies? That's your job. Why aren't you doing your job? Too busy reading? Are you too busy with literacy? Is that the problem? And Davos is like, And then cut to Davos with the mermaid princess, who's being pretty persnickety, kind of uncharacteristic. Maybe she's stressed out from those visits from the Red Woman. They read a little about Bravos and pirates and smugglers, and a light bulb goes on over Davos's head, and he has the mermaid princess forge a letter to Bravos. Probably some kind of manipulation to get access to their navy. Smart plan. Once again, Davos. Hand the king. Then we're in the weird town near the Black Fort where Samwise is putting Gilly. And some creepy dude is creeping her out, and she's like, tell me again why this place is better for me. And Sam's talking to the innkeeper, and she's like, so you're her pimp, and you're pimping her out, right? And he's like, no, I want to be clear, no. And he's like, tell me again why this place is better for her. Then we cut to one of the most rare things in Westeros and Game of Thrones: fun, consensual sex. Inigo Montoya and his girlfriend are having a big orgy, and Inigo talks some with the really cute blonde guy, the one who I think does work on the side for, I think, Varys. He was the one who with Loras where it was like, tennis, anyone? And there's a discussion that I loved about bisexuals. Do those really exist? Discuss. Then enter Tywin, which kills that orgy. And I wish that in a truly baller move, Inigo had no pants on and forced Tywin to have the conversation with him naked. But everyone wore pants. And Tywin's like, I'm going to make you an offer you cannot refuse. And Inigo is like, there is nothing you could offer because I hate you and I'm here to kill you. And Tywin's like, what if I told you I'd put you on the small council? And what if I said I categorically was not involved in your sister's murder? How about if I use a big word to really put a button on this deal? What do you say? And Inigo is like, I shouldn't trust you, but I want to. I wish you could just be straight up obviously evil all of the time. That would remove the moral ambiguity here, which is also quite compelling. Cut to Tyrion in prison, visited by his administrative assistant Podrick. Tyrion reviving his "I'm too smart" defense from season 1, which we know that, and Tyrion knows that, and if brains were valued in Westeros, that defense might get some traction, but we all know they're not, and so it's not. And Tyrion inserts a little humor here, says, normally, haha, Cersei is suspect number 1 when something bad happens in King's Landing, but this time, probably not. Which, side note, if she wasn't so clearly sad about it, Cersei had probably the most to gain out of killing Joffrey, because she gets to become Queen Regent again. Anyway, then we have a sad part where Tyrion's like, Podrick, you gotta get out of here. Go on now. Get. Like in White Fang. Also, like, just repeating from last episode with Shay. Oh, Tyrion, you have to push away everyone you love. Then we're at a joint massacre by the Wild Things and the Cannibals, which, the way Westeros is going, there are not going to be many places to raid and massacre for very much longer. Just from an economic standpoint, I don't understand how this place works. And one kid, the cannibal, traumatizes for life, says, I'm gonna eat your ma, gonna eat your pa, go tell the Night Watch. Hey. Side note, too, that cannibalism is not a sustainable way to get food. You know how if you eat raw fish, or you can eat steak tartare, that's because most cow diseases don't easily transmit to humans. And a notable example would be Creutzfeldt-Jakob. However, eating raw pig, that's more dangerous because diseases in pig's flesh readily transmit to humans when humans eat it. Well, guess what? All of the diseases in human flesh transmit to humans when you eat human flesh. So it's not a good way to sustainably eat. It's kind of a good way to intimidate enemies, and it's a good ritual practice if you want to ritually inculcate people in your tribe. But it's not a good. Nobody's a subsistence cannibal. It's just like a supplemental thing. Anyway, we all want to believe in cannibals though, because we just do. Okay. So that cannibal's like, yeah, go tell the Night Watch. So the kid goes to the Night Watch, and there's a lot of rah, 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 rah. What should we do? I think it ends with, we protect the wall, not people, which that's one of the nice things about orthodoxies. When all else fails, you have the clean, bright lines that you've accepted as your savior. We protect the wall. Very simple. No moral ambiguity there. And then we end with Dany at Babylon. The Babylonians send out their champion dude. There's a pee-pee joke when he makes some pee-pee. So then it's like, well, who are we going to send out as our champion? And Dany's like, well, not Grey Worm. He's too valuable, and he's so beautiful, and he looks like a young Barack Obama. And not Jorah Mothma. He's too valuable. How about you, Dario Naharis? I miss the old Dario just because he presented as more obviously shallow. But don't worry. Even with that serious brunette hair, Dany's totally tuned in to this Dario's narcissism tip. She's like, go to it, Dario. Everybody's watching. You'll love it. He puts a dagger in the horse and a scythe through the dude. And then the Babylonians shoot some arrows, which for reasons I do not really understand, the arrows stop before the front lines. And then there's some more pee-pee. And then Dany gives a speech, which I love when she speaks Valyrian, or that variant on Valyrian that she's speaking. She tells the Babylonian slaves to rise up against their masters. She says that she offers a choice, I guess, to have a new, cooler master. And then she has her guys bring out the catapults, and it's like, yeah, some choice. And then it turns out the catapults aren't firing bombs, it's barrels filled with open shackles. And there's a really nice shot at the end where a Babylonian picks up a shackle and looks at it, then looks at a master. Smash cut to black. Very nice. So I hope that the mystery of who killed Joffrey doesn't have to last the whole season. I hope Dany can figure out that Dario Naharis is a stinker soon before he obviously betrays her. I hope Arya and the Hund ditch Westeros and hit the sea. I hope Tyrion comes up with a better defense than I'm too smart and can Jessica Fletcher his way out of there. And put those smarts to use, getting himself free. And I hope the Night's Watch and the Wild Things and even the cannibals end up in an unholy alliance to fight the White Walkers. Those are my hopes. Tune in next week.